we go.
Live. Finally. Ooh. Okay. Hi. How's it going?
Good.
Good. Cool. So.
Terrible.
I am joined this evening for Insight Check episode 2 with the lovely Jen and Ben. And I have Jeff this time, but Jeff still couldn't physically make it, so he's in through Discord. Say hi, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
What?
Oh
What?
my goodness.
If he hadn't said his name, I wouldn't know who he was.
So, we are now going to go through more questions, and I'm going to pull up stream in a sec, too, so I can look at what people are saying.
This is the downside to being slightly different.
What?
Like delayed.
Oh.
We're
That
all
is
here,
that is a huge delay.
but that
if
is
this
still
isn't-
saying starting soon.
Yeah.
Maybe the TV's frozen.
Normally it's like 30 seconds or so, but...
Is it frozen? Because it keeps flashing with the mute symbol.
Jeff said no, it's not. Jeff said he's still seeing starting soon.
Oh.
Is that correct, Jeff?
Oh, there we go. Now I see y'all's beautiful faces.
Yay!
Shit.
That's crazy.
I wonder what happened.
We still don't even see it on our side.
Hail.
Help.
Hail.
Help.
Why is technology so hard?
It's terrible for us. Your TV is really having a heart attack. Do you see how many times it's flashing?
No, that's normal.
That's because it's muted. Hey guys, we actually are using the TV this time, like we said we would.
Technically.
But
Do you look at your questions?
Oh, we're live. Yeah, I can see us on even my stream. Maybe you just need to
Yeah, I think you need to
re-tune
do
in.
your TV so I can see everybody's questions.
get to see a close up of my face. Yeah, why would it? All right.
Oh, we can see it now.
Okay. It works now. Do any of you have stream up?
No.
I
That's
do.
what the TV's for.
Do you
Yeah,
have
I
stream
know.
up?
Yeah.
No, I meant the chat. That's what I meant.
I have the chat up.
Okay, cool. Alright, Jeff.
Whoa, it went back. Oh, there.
It's extremely delayed on the TV. Hey, Jeff.
Yes, that's me.
I have so many questions for you. In fact, there were a lot of people last time that specifically wanted to ask you things, and it sucked because you weren't there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a popular guy, but I'm also super busy.
I don't care, man. I don't care. D&D is life. Okay, so the first question is going to be for you.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Val Val? Like, how does it affect you?
Well, going from the original question of why is Val Val and secrets and all that kind of shit. I mean, he was, I guess his past life when he was young. I mean, it was built on secrets. I mean, his family came from royalty, and they were trying to not quite overthrow the current political system that was in the Underdark with the people who worship Lolth. They were trying to switch that, so everything about his childhood was built on secrets, which probably was ultimately the demise of his family. So that's why he is so secretive. I mean, secrets essentially get people killed, and that's why there are so many of them.
But how does that affect like your decision making and kind of what makes Val like the way that he is now?
His decision making wise, he's very on. It's a split second decision when it comes to him. There's not a lot of thinking because he is normally thinking far enough ahead in terms of when the situation happens or when he's walking into a situation. He's always thinking about the possibilities of what could happen. So if something does happen, he's gonna know what he thinks is right. I mean, it's what he's gonna do. I mean, there's not a lot. There's not a lot that could be said to stop him when if something comes up and he needs to act. He's going to act on his own free will, and ultimately that could affect him, or it could ultimately affect the group itself.
And it has before.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, good answers. I'll go on to the next question, but before I do, Jacket Gaming, thanks for the tier 1 month sub. 2 months in a row now. You are our hero. Yeah. We love you. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Okay. The next question is also a Val question. So you are just in the spotlight right now.
That's why I was a theater major.
Okay. I knew that. I don't know why for a second I was like, huh, I didn't know that. We've talked about it before. So nerd. What did Val plan on doing with the Zadra Stone when he was in the monastery, kind of by himself?
Ooh, that's an easy question. Personally, as in for myself as a player, I have plans for it to see the current path of the way the Blood Hunter's going. I have a couple different decisions I need to make prior to picking the Blood Hunter architect. Well, it's not really an architect, but it's anyway. But Val ultimately power, 100% power. We saw what Xena could do with the bow when she had it. Whether it was a possession or not, it really wasn't. I mean, we saw a few instances where it did control her in ways that, in some situations, it was just when we were messing around in a bar and stuff like that, but then we also saw other situations where it affected us directly in the fight. But yeah, it all comes back to power. Val right now is on a power trip. Since the whole Blood Hunter thing came apart, and the visions that he saw with the Spider Queen and all this other stuff, I mean, he is afraid that he is going to come into a situation where he does not have the power to defend himself or take down those who have hurt him in the past. So, ultimately he wanted to see if he could connect with Zadra since perhaps strike a deal. As he watched Xena deal with the situation, he knew that she had the potential to have something very strong on her side, but she wasn't quite sure how to deal with it. So Val would play with the idea where there was no current possession of anything that he owns, and he would struck a deal.
I have a question. I have a follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
How badly does Val want Virian's help in extracting Zadrus's
help?
Yeah, and extracting Zadrus's powers from the stone that is likely not in?
Say that one more time. Extracting what?
Extracting Zadrus's powers from the stone that is likely not in.
If there was somebody that he knew that could help, if there was power in the stone, he would weigh his decisions on who to ask or the way to go about that. But as far as he's aware in the current situation, the stone is a stone.
Should have never given him to him. Sumiko should have kept that stone. Everybody kept forcing her to give it to Jeff.
On the record, though, it seems Val actually really wants Virian's help, but is too embarrassed to ask for it. On the record.
On the record, yeah.
That's now confirmed. You guys have it. By the way, yes, Jeff is using his blood hunter magic and arcane trickster magic to communicate with us right now. And Jacket Gaming, man, you just want us to come and hug you or something.
Wow.
Wow.
It's the mug.
Wow.
The mug.
We love you. You're great. Thank you for supporting us.
Oh, my mug looks so good. Oh, like in person.
in the wild.
I've never seen it, and
I love that emote. It's dope.
that took me several hours, and it's not even that complicated.
And it's well worth it.
Oh, by the way, it's Jacket's birthday today.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Oh man, why didn't you tell us?
He just did.
I just remembered.
No, why didn't Jacket Gaming tell us?
Right, he's our number one fan.
He probably forgot too.
I tier 2 subscribe to Jackie Gaming's birthday.
I tier 3 subscribe.
If I had a mug, I would.
Yeah, we should have our
Lift it up.
mugs. The air
Does not
clink.
All right, it's not a mug, but what? Fine.
It's not a mug.
It's not a mug. I think I have a follow-up question too. So you said concerning the power. I'm more looking for clarification. Jeff, concerning the power, he is trying to have as much power as he can get in order to be able to save himself and his friends if needed.
Yeah. In terms of the power aspect, yeah. I mean, that's essentially what it all would come down to.
Aw. I love this question.
Why don't we answer it?
Jacket Gaming asks, if the party had a buddy system, who would pair best with who?
Ooh. I'm gonna let the three of you answer that question.
Well, Val would pair perfectly with himself.
You have to be paired with somebody,
with
though.
Zadris.
He's using mirror image.
Yeah.
No, you have to pick a party member. You can't be paired with yourself.
Well, there's 5 of
You
us.
silly
now,
There
goose.
is 5 of us now. Then who would you be paired with?
I think that's a tricky question. Depends on what the goal is. If it's just like we're setting off on our own adventure, then it would 100% be loot. Because he's Fae, he's of Fae magic, and Varian is obsessed with that. So he would just go along with loot, and we would go and do nonsensical things together.
That would be a very nonsensical adventure.
Yeah.
Not you and Tatiana.
Yeah,
though,
you can
since
make a
guys have,
movie out of that.
the longest relationship.
She would be my second, but then there's also, if it was not anyone's particular choice, Varian would try to sneak along with Val, because he finds Val the most vexing of the entire group.
He finds him the most vexing.
Vexing. Yeah.
Interesting. And you? I feel like I know your answer, but...
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
That would be Tatiana because she's a monk.
I thought it, yeah.
The thing is, even though we're both like monks, I kind of think of us as like. Even though we're both monks, we're different.
Mm-hmm.
Because my focus is not the same. In fact, like, I almost forget that I'm a monk sometimes. So, just because I don't have to even be close to someone, and that's kind of what I picture with a monk. Like, the stereotypical image of a monk is, like, up in close quarters, and I don't have to, and I especially don't have to now, because I can be even further away from everybody. I guess right now, with my character's current mission, then I would be paired with Val, even if he doesn't want me to, but I have enough secrets on him that he has no choice. He would have to
You
take
think you have secrets on me. You think you do.
I sure do.
What about you, Jeff?
And I'm highly perceptive.
Oh, easily Sumiko. For the fact that she has certain, coming from like a tactical
tactical, strategical point of view. She can heal, and she's a wood elf. And having a wood elf on your side in more or less this world, you can get into a lot of places rather than having to argue your way in or kill your way into a spot being a dark elf.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And thus the Valmiko relationship continues.
Valmiko forever and always.
Friendship.
That was a good question though, Jack Gaming.
Frenemies.
That was
Yes.
a good question. All right, well, I'm gonna go on to the next one.
Oh, I have a question though.
What's your question?
For Jeff.
Please.
Since you do see me as like a strategical ally, I guess, then why did you pick my character to go with you to the house over everyone else? Was it just because of that or something else?
You were a neutral party in the situation. Others in the group had known my brother prior.
Gotcha.
And it comes back to you're able to heal, you're a wood elf. If we needed to talk our way out of the diplomatic situation or however crazy it could have been when it comes to Jordan, it would have been the easiest route to bring full-blooded elf to the situation.
What do you mean when it comes
And
to,
you've seen,
Jordan?
and where is, because most of the characters, like, I think my character and your character are the oldest in the situation. It would have been more of an experienced situation as well.
I have no experience with anybody though.
That's true.
I've lived under like
The
a
least.
rock, practically.
It's true. Yeah, we're getting out from under that rock. Right?
You have the oldest, the second oldest body.
Yeah, second oldest body.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the oblivious nature of a child. But isn't a child. 100%. Definitely not a child, but... Unless you consider
Jacket
flowers
Gaming.
childish.
Jacket Gaming has 2 more questions, and since it is their birthday, we're gonna give them priority today. So they asked the party, are we needs of many or needs of the few? What is the few was the party's family, and the many was the state of an entire nation.
So we either need the entire nation or
What
needs
if?
of our...
No, we serve the needs.
What if the few was the party's family, and the many was the state or an entire nation? Or, I'm sorry, the state of an entire nation. So, do you think you guys are needs of the few or needs of the many?
Varian is needs of the many.
I
Or needs of both.
I feel like I have needs of both. Like, right now, my character's on her own personal mission to do as much good as she can for her family and for herself, but then also everybody else. So, I'm not really on a side. It's just kind of like whatever comes first. That comes up in the moment.
Jeff?
I would say Val is the few.
Of course he is.
Yeah, I was
Because
gonna
in
say, I
terms
already know
of-
who Jeff's answer.
in terms of coming from a drowned nature, I mean, we were pushed out of the many a very long time ago. So, welcome.
Welcome. I
That's my
think
favorite stat, so I don't give a shit.
Tatiana is definitely needs of the many,
Mm-hmm.
and that was displayed, I mean, in many, in a lot of different situations, but especially the
jail.
the slave revolt in the Underdark. And I think loot,
Would also be many.
loot would be needs of the many.
Because he wants to play songs for everybody and...
Actually, I think loot is needs of the few.
Yeah, I don't use either.
I think he's needs of the few, because Lute's motivations for doing things is kind of purely out of self-interest. Like, he wants to play for people because he wants those people to adore him.
That's fair.
So that's more of a needs of the few, kind of mindset. That's kind of disguised as a needs of the many.
I think Luke would be neither. I think he is truly
neutral.
He is in the situation that he's in is the way he'll go. I feel that his well, I mean, coming from his race, I mean, from a me standpoint, from a player standpoint, I mean, the way the constructs work is they're just there. Like, I think they're the one true race that could be considered a truly neutral party, where it does not matter. It's whatever the current situation is the way they'll go.
It's also from a different plane. So, I don't know how old he's... How old is Luke?
He doesn't know.
Oh.
I just know he's really short.
I don't know how Warforged work, like, in canon. So, I would imagine if anything, they're created in the image of their master or whatever. So maybe...
It really does depend on the setting. In this setting, I mean, much like everything else, I always put a spin on it, just because I don't know. I don't usually like to do the same thing.
And that's what makes us the best.
Yep.
This next question is for you, Jordan, actually. From Johnny Midnight.
Read it to me.
Would there
Johnny Midnight.
Would there be a possible future battle against all past fallen allies as summoned undead, including Barnaby?
Naruto shit.
Holy shit.
Naruto shit.
Will there be a battle against all past and fallen allies?
And they'll come back as summoned undead.
Will Barnaby have a face?
I guess he would.
You know, Johnny Midnight, I can't exactly tell you what's going to happen, because the way that I run the story is I kind of set up different pieces and points, and things are happening in the background. And, like, just because the players didn't go to a certain area doesn't mean that those events didn't still happen. So it's completely dependent on where they, or on the choices that they make and where they decide to go. And if they end up getting into a situation that, pits them against someone that can just reanimate their fallen and undead allies, then definitely. But if they don't, I'm not going to force them into that situation. So, in short, I don't know. It's really wherever the story takes us.
I hope that doesn't happen.
Boy, has it taken us many places.
Yeah.
You know who Ricefin can, what Ricefin can do? He can reanimate. And he knows everyone that's ever been in our party. And he has sending,
that means
so he can contact them wherever they are.
That means we would be fighting against Ricefin though too, because why else would he bring them back and we would be in a battle with them?
But honestly, how many fallen and dead allies do we have?
I mean, it doesn't matter. We have
Two truly fallen.
Yep.
Well, it depends. I mean, my old character died.
Okay,
that's true.
So you have Siobhan,
Exena.
Oh shit, that's right. I forgot all about Siobhan.
But he
Siobhan
also said
was like a sliver of
Siobhan, Exena, Barnaby, and Veriscard.
Ooh.
I don't want to fight all those people.
And any prisoners that died. I guess.
Yeah.
Technically.
I think I would.
Nargari.
I guess it completely depends on what you count as an ally.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. So like if they made an appearance once.
I thought it said
are
past.
they an ally?
I thought it said past or
slaves.
fallen.
Past. Maybe it did. I didn't.
It says past fallen. I thought it said past or fallen, so I was throwing Tayrod in there as well.
Oh.
And he won the battle royale. So
I think that would go completely differently now. Because paladins are really strong in the beginning levels, but they taper off pretty quick.
maybe he multi-classed.
Well, I guess we'll see if you guys ever see Tayrod again.
I've never seen him.
You have not. No, you've not. Okay. Good question though, Johnny Midnight. I like it.
These are good questions. Keep them coming.
Seriously, keep coming. Especially Jacket Gaming because it's your birthday.
Right?
Okay.
You have to ask as many questions as how old you are. Reverse
I-
Pokemon
We'll be
punches.
here all night.
Dang, Jeff. That's mean.
Tis.
Okay. Next one isn't even really about the campaign. It's more about the background aspects that I'm sure a lot of people think about and are interested in. So, how have you adjusted to taking this thing that you enjoy and turning it into like the streaming experience? Like, how do you adjust to that?
I personally don't do anything differently in my head. I don't know if I act differently, but I feel like I would be doing the exact same thing if there wasn't a camera. I don't even look at the camera. I feel like it would be weird to just stare at it. So I kind of just pretend it's not there.
Extremely weird.
Unless that's what the people want. I mean, I can work on that. If everyone wants me to stare directly into the camera.
Do it.
But
Just like this. And then you do this. Just the whole time. The whole three and a half
And then I
hours.
swim in a
But
lake of
Sumiko
bodies.
has my sense of humor, so it's pretty much me minus the some of the crazy ridiculousness. But I would say a portion of that is me. But I don't think any differently of the stream. But I think it's just because the camera doesn't bother me, like the thought of it being there or any of that. I'm more concerned with like, is everything working? That's all I really pay attention
The
to.
answer is
Same. Alright, Ben?
I would say more or less I haven't changed how I played. I don't interject with as many jokes, probably, because we're trying to keep things going. But I will say that I'm.
I think you definitely should.
I should. I don't know. Some of those are painful, but
Even better.
I have been trying to get more in touch with my character, which is kind of weird since the last insight check I mentioned that my character is myself. But I'm trying to get like more into the backstory as far as like details and the mindset, and I think that these little talks are helping a lot. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that we started these.
You get to really explore like the different thoughts and things of your character and like understand more about other people's characters.
Yeah, because when you're playing, you don't realize, oh, this is probably what Varian would be thinking.
Yeah.
Same reason, like I realized last
kinda just do
inside check that he would be terrified if Tatiana didn't know what she was doing.
Yeah.
And she doesn't, but she doesn't relay that in game, and I don't insight check her, and I don't know. It just adds a new layer of immersion, I guess.
I wonder if you inciting some of the feelings of Virian, you choose not to insight check her without realizing it because you kind of don't want to know if she actually doesn't have shit, together.
That's a good question. I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
I just wonder, is all.
Yeah.
What about you, Jeff?
In terms of streaming, no, I don't think much changed. I mean, like Ben was saying, with getting more into your character, I mean, that'll only make the stream more interesting. Is playing your character to its true self. That's something that I've really tried to do with Val is get into that mindset of who he really is as a character and kind of try and portray that to an audience. But in terms of just in general, has anything changed now? I mean, that was my biggest thing when we first started talking about what's the next for the campaign. And we were all like, let's start streaming. I mean, that was my biggest thing is like just first and foremost to remember that we are here for the game. The stream is here, but we need to remember that we're still playing a game and we still can have just as much fun as we were prior to streaming. And I think Ben hit it off with in terms of like when he was talking about he wasn't trying to follow as many jokes and stuff like that. That was definitely one thing that we had an issue with prior to streaming. Was what we would
break character essentially. I mean, that was probably the biggest thing for everybody. It was while we're streaming, we have to stay in character because I mean we would joke around a lot while playing, and games would last a lot longer. But I think that was the biggest thing. I think that was the biggest change was, you know, once you sit down, once the cameras are up, once the game starts, we're in character. And I mean that was the thing prior to streaming, but it was one of those bigger things was not serious.
Yeah. I mean, I still want you to joke. Like, you do a lot of in-character jokes, which I think are, like, good for whatever moment that you guys are in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we did have a problem with that we were like, all right, now we're streaming. Let's just try and, you know, stick to the story, get as much in character as you can. Yeah. I know for me, it was definitely something I had to adjust to. I think I just mostly tell myself that I'm going to do the same amount of work and try my hardest to make sure that my players have fun. And if our viewers also enjoy it and stuff, then like, cool, that's awesome. But my main focus is like the people that are coming every Sunday to come and sit at the table with me for 3.5 hours every single Sunday. Are they having fun? And if the answer to that is yes, then I'm doing a good job. So yeah.
You're doing a good job.
Thanks. Until you kill us, then you're doing a terrible job.
I needed that.
We have another question
Do
from
we?
Jacket Gaming, as well as Johnny Midnight.
I have one question from Miss Tanya Pickles that I want to.
Oh.
She gave us a lot of questions.
Let's do it.
So I do want to make sure that we get some of hers as well.
Go for it. I'll let you decide. I'm just gonna leave that there.
Lightning round.
Lightning
Our
round.
questions aren't up here, so I feel bad when I keep looking down at the phone.
Next time.
The stream
I guess,
is up.
I guess next time we'll set it up better. Maybe.
No, there's nothing wrong. It's
Well,
just
well, I
the
mean,
chat's not up.
If we can
If
do
we
it
did it through PlayStation.
Through PlayStation, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. To give you guys insight check. We're looking at it's set up on my TV, but it's not even showing the chat, so it's useless to us.
It's like a nice mirror.
Except for it's like a minute behind.
Yeah.
Ooh, these are all so good. I'm actually not sure which to pick. Ben, I want you to pick one of these. Just pick one of the everyone questions. I feel like they're all so good.
Those are some good ones too.
I know the answer. The exact answers to these questions.
I know my answer. I don't know if other people know my answer. But
I think we could answer all of these. Right?
We definitely can. I was just asking.
For first?
I think that they're all really good.
Well, there's one that's a little bit nuanced from what Jacket Gaming asked earlier, which is your character for the team or for self?
Yeah, so we can skip that one because it was kind of already addressed.
Kind of? You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's so many other good ones that we might not get all through.
well, maybe this one, irrelevant to the story. What would make your character no longer loyal to the queen? Am I the only one waiting for the queen to turn?
Well, yeah, let's talk about the queen. And
Yeah.
wasn't there one in here about the portal as well?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
talk about that.
Yeah.
Bring it back to the campaign a little bit.
Okay, so what would it take for us not to?
Yeah, what would it take for you to no longer be loyal to the queen? Is Miss Tanya Pickles the only one that is waiting for the queen to turn? I'm assuming turn evil. And the portal scene, which was actually in our first episode.
Yeah.
In our first episode, it
Yeah.
already feels like it was a while ago.
Yeah.
But in our first episode, when you found the portal in the Queen's chambers, the last question for that is, who wanted to go into it? Like, who wanted to visit?
Okay. Go ahead there.
I did not want to go in the portal. I don't know what's on the other side of the portal. And my character has not already gone through a portal like everyone else. So, people were hesitant to go through it, and then other people were not, I think. It's been a little bit, so I don't remember everyone's first reactions to that one coming up. But
How about yours?
I don't think I would. I didn't want to go through.
Okay.
Now without knowing what's on the other side and the purpose. Like, we didn't know if that was connected in any way, or if it was just an escape route, or whatever it was going to do. So there was no point in going into the unknown. Because as much as Sumiko wants to help everybody, I don't think she would do that. Just like, it's like the same thing with the question about the allegiance to the queen. I wouldn't even say Sumiko is aligned to the queen. I would say she's kind of neutral. She's aligned to the party, and right now the party has decided to go on this quest to help the queen. But overall, that quest is for, like, the greater good, not the queen. So, I wouldn't say I don't trust or trust the queen, and I wouldn't say I'm aligned or not aligned with the queen. She's just there.
Wouldn't you say it bodes well for the queen if the quest that she's sending you on is also for the greater good?
I mean, I'm not going to complain if it's for the greater good.
I think from Val's standpoint, she sent us on a quest to save her own ass.
Well, Sumiko's oblivious. So, again.
So would you say that you're not loyal?
To Val?
Yeah.
Isn't that their whole...
No, but... No, if that was to Val, no, Val is 100% not and has never been loyal.
Did you want to go through the portal, though?
No, hell no. The last time we went through a portal, we ended up in hell.
Yeah.
Hence why I also did not go through.
Yeah.
Never been there either.
Hell is bad times, guys. They went to hell.
It was bad times, but we did some dumb shit though when we were in the portal, man. Trying to distract people. We were doing some stupid.
Yeah. Remember the double Allosaurus distraction?
Yes. Dude.
Yeah.
Or the breaking of the wall, so you're like, how do we put this wall back together?
Oh, yeah.
It's dumb. What's your answer, Ben?
I would also say Varian is not loyal to the queen. Nor is he unloyal to. He's not like looking for a reason to hate her or whatever. He just doesn't know about her other than she is the queen. She treated his brother well. He didn't like that she was so snooty toward Val. So he's just kind of like neutral with the queen. So what would it take? It would take any bad act, like objectively bad action, for him to not be loyal to her, because he's already in the middle. So he can only go,
one way or the other.
Yeah.
I'd be in that same boat.
As far as the quest that she sent us on, he thinks it's weird that she didn't meet the party there, but she was also on the run in the Feywild.
Mm-hmm.
Or is she?
Or is she? It's kind of weird that she sent both the party and the demon we're trying to take down to the same cave. But she sent him there because she knew it would weaken him. We were going there to get stuff for a ritual of some sort.
A demon dampener.
Like, are we supposed to do it while we're there and he's there? Like, just hold on 1 second, Bisno, while we do this ritual.
Just wait.
Just wait, okay?
Hold on.
We're waiting on the queen.
Be patient.
I do not know the plan.
Yeah.
So that is weird to Varian. But also then the portal, he wanted to go through to the Feywild, but he also did not.
But did he?
Logically, he didn't want to.
Did he know that it was to the Feywild?
I thought that was brought up.
Yeah, it was.
The only thing that I ever said concerning it was that Lute had seen a portal like this previously that led to the
Okay.
to the Feywild.
Well,
you guys weren't completely sure.
Yeah,
like,
still logically, if someone had experienced a portal similar to the one we were looking at, and he knew it went to the Feywild,
you'd be like, oh
you'd
shit.
be like, okay, well, it could go to the Feywild.
I thought she directly told us she was in one now.
She did, but that was later.
That was later.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
When you guys
When we FaceTimed her.
FaceTime her through the bowl. I can picture that.
Fantasy FaceTime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Maybe that's what we should have called
an
this.
Interesting question. Fantasy FaceTime? Oh my god. That is such a good name.
It could be
Copyright
like,
it right now.
Copyrighted. Can't take it.
it assigns your face to like a fantasy character from like a race from D&D.
An emoji.
Yeah.
An emoji.
We'll use it for something else.
Fantasy FaceTime. Oh,
Give us
I like it.
ideas.
I like it.
Next
Viewers, don't steal it.
Please don't.
We came up with it first. It's
we'll,
ours.
We'll cry if you take it.
We have it on video.
We do
Yep,
it on video.
yep. So if you ever take it, we will know.
We will sue you.
We'll sue. I'll sue you for one tier 1 subscribe. What is your regret or something your character would want to do differently in this campaign? Like, do you have one big regret?
As a player character? Or is it player? Or is it character? Sorry.
Which one?
Or
both.
Let's go.
Did you say is a player or a character?
Let's go with both. You can start us out, Jeff. If you have an answer.
Did he die?
He might have died.
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
No, sorry, I'll cut out every now and then. I hear like blips of sentences sometimes, so I wasn't sure if somebody else was talking. My biggest, I think one of, from a personal standpoint, one of the biggest things that I really wanted to play on was when Varian was brought back to life. I really wanted to play off of that because from dealings in Val's past, he was very stubborn and very to the point of what was dead or what has been killed stays dead. And Varian was brought back after being very much dead. And that was something that I really, from a personal standpoint, I really wanted to play off of and kind of portray that in game. I wasn't really sure how I would go with it because I wanted to kind of. I had a monologue written up of what I was gonna say to Varian, but I never had a chance to do it just for the way the story went and how stuff happened and what happened from there and stuff like that. But from like my standpoint, I really wanted to kind of build that because it would have been like one of those relationship kind of builder kind of things. But yeah, from my personal standpoint, when Varian died, not playing to that with Val was one of the things I really wanted to do but never could.
That's a good one. And before you tell me your character one, I want to give you guys some more insight. So, our first big bad, his name was Tradoka, and he was a spellcaster who specialized in necromancy and trying to do different kinds of rituals and things. And they basically stormed his castle. It's called Mort Vance Fort, and they had a pretty tough battle. And in that battle, Varian got perma killed, like not just downed, but he died. And they had to kind of go through hoops to bring him back, and that's where that whole thing is coming from. But Jeff, now give me your character one.
Val, speakers to Brett. Are we talking in-game now, or is it something from the past the group doesn't know? What are we looking at here?
Really, I guess in the campaign so far?
In the campaign. I don't know. I don't think with the way the current campaign is going, he doesn't.
I don't think he does, in all honesty. I don't think Val has, like, a super big regret yet. Because, I mean, when you really think about it, yeah, the Keller campaign's been going on for, shit, almost 2 years? Year and a half?
Yeah, it's been going on for a bit.
No regrets.
In reality, the group's only been together for, what, a half a year? 6 months?
Yeah, probably close to like 8 months now.
Yeah. I mean, there really hasn't been anything where he's kind of just been like, oh, shit, I fucked up. There really hasn't been one of those moments yet. I mean, he has a lot from his past, but none of that's come up.
What about your fake marriage?
Fake marriage.
Or your real marriage. You just woke up with a ring on your finger.
I still think it's your brother's wife.
Yeah, that still perplexes Val. Like, he kind of got like a little glimmer of hope when he had the ring, he had the note, said see you at the honeymoon. He did question a few people in town about a character from his past, but nothing came of that. So we'll see where that story plays out, if it ever does so.
See, and a really interesting thing about time in D&D is, like, you could have 6 sessions that are like 4 hours each, or 7 sessions, and it's all in the span of 1 day, or 2 days or something. And it's like, I don't know, I think, when I think about the 8 months in game that your characters have been together, I guess I think about it as like, when you're having fun, time passes fast. But when every day is a struggle and you don't know if you're going to make it out alive, and you're going against like all of these, life-threatening, things, that shit feels like it's been a lifetime.
Yeah.
Like it probably feels a lot longer than 8 months to your in-game characters. Because your actual player characters know that it's, you've been playing the game for 2 years, so yeah. Anyways, Jan, you're up next.
I'm still thinking about as a player what I would regret, but as a character, the only thing I could think of is the time that my character got so drunk that I started force feeding my cat.
Oh god.
I kept shoving food into her mouth until she just got sick. And that's like the worst thing in the world because I love my cat. And my character loves flowers and my cat is named after a flower. Her name is Lily. And I force fed her until she puked.
I think that was like...
I've scared my cat.
That might have been the episode right before we started streaming.
Yeah, we were at a restaurant called Eggs and Kegs.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what a keg was. So I asked for a keg, and no one would let me have a keg. So I instead got the strongest drink, and the mug, at the time, one of the things that you could roll from the mug was that the alcohol had increased in effect. So I had that on top of the strongest alcohol.
That enchantment.
So my poor cat.
Courtesy of Trixon.
As a character, I guess as a player, the only other thing would be, I guess, swimming through the lake of dead bodies. Because in my head, like, even in real life, I wasn't thinking of it as a morbid thing or, like, a bad thing.
I was
just thinking,
screen like...
It might have just been phrasing.
It probably, it was just, I guess it was that, but in my head, I was picturing my character just backstroking through, like, a clean pond. I had totally forgot there was dead bodies in it, and so then I was like, well, gotta go with it now, and luckily my character's oblivious, so it worked out, but in real life, me was like, I can't believe I just did that.
So to give you guys more information on what that was, they were basically going through this dungeon to get to Grimrog, who had Virian's sister held captive, and she basically didn't have much time left. Yada yada yada. So they end up getting to like this lake where they're in like what like waist-high water.
Mm-hmm.
And they realize that there's all these like things in the water that are bumping into them, and they then realize that they're like dead bodies that Grimrock has, has like killed and disposed of. That are just like sitting there in the water, and Sumiko at one point like swam at it and did a backstroke, and I'm just like.
The flesh was in my hair, and
I was like, okay.
I thought it was totally
sure.
cool, like, no big deal in game.
Huh.
Meanwhile, like, it was very, everybody's really, not sad, but it's not a joyful time.
Correct.
Meanwhile, I'm like, just off in my own little world, having a good time. Swimming along.
All right, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Last but not least.
Varian has many regrets. But the first one I thought of when I heard the question was, Nargari!
Are you doing player or character?
Varian.
Okay.
Yeah, character. Nargari. He wanted so badly to go and help Nargari save what was like the equivalent of Atlantis to player Ben. I was like, oh man, that would have been so cool. To go and I have all these spells that can help with underwater stuff.
Nargari was someone that they met very early in their story. He was a powerful merman and the king of an underwater city called Maz, and he basically wanted help from the party in order to take his city back from this evil chick who was mean and enslaved his people. But the party never came back to help.
We got sent to hell.
Because they got sent to hell. Yeah. So so many things. And
priorities.
In the beginning, they were just accepting every single quest and then never coming back to finish anything.
I still have a list, so one day we'll go back.
Some say he's still waiting.
Some say he's still waiting.
I'd like to meet
Poor
him one
party
day.
people. I don't think I have any.
You don't regret killing Siobhan?
No.
I do want to say there's still plenty of time for any bonding between characters to take place, no matter how long ago something happened. So Varian ignored his own death. Like he's like, oh, I'm back. Let's not think about that anymore.
So that happened.
Yeah, so it's not like he's had this time to reflect on it or whatever. So if Val approached him, it wouldn't be like, whoa, that happened so long ago. It was only 8 months ago, or however long, maybe 7 or 6 or whatever.
That sounds like an invitation to me.
He wouldn't think it was
invitation, but I did actually, after once Ben's finished, I was looking over my notes and stuff like that, and did realize that I did have one Val regret, so I'll let that finish.
Oh,
okay.
Look at that.
What did you have any other Varian regrets that you wanted to mention as your biggest one before you get to your player?
Biggest one? Nargari is pretty big. Other than that, it's like dying, and then therefore, Tay leaving or whatever. Varian very much thinks it's his fault, but also not his fault because Tay's kind of a selfish dick. And then his sister, they weren't quick enough to get there. He feels guilty about wanting to rest before they went further into the Underdark instead of going there as fast as they could. Xena, just everybody he couldn't keep with him.
And as a player,
I had an answer to this. I don't remember.
Well, if you do remember, just
I'll bring it up.
Let me know. All right, Jeff, what you got?
So I think the one thing, I forgot we did this. When we took a week or two break from D&D, and Jordan proposed us with, okay, we're in Stonehaven, which was the biggest city we had ever been to. You have 2 weeks to do whatever you want.
And out of game, not quite meta, but it was more of like a proposition. Varian kind of hinted, we might be able to bring your brother back. And stubborn Val, thinking of what was dead stays dead, and seeing what happened when we brought his sister back and how she wasn't, was she like a dwarf, I think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she is.
I'm sorry. Yes, yes. She's a dwarf.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be if there was like a moment in the current story arc was it. I don't know if it was more of a regret or more of a what if. Like, should he have gone back to try and bring his brother back? Should he have tried to protect him more? But instead, he filled his time with fornicating, drinking, drugs, fighting in the pit, and gambling.
As you do.
Yeah, as I do.
That's a good one.
That's also something else that Varian is very much willing to help with. Because he did it to his own sister. He didn't really care if she wanted to come back. He was just like, I don't want to have this on my conscience.
Yeah, but I think also too, coming from Val's point of view, is would this be selfish? Would it be one of those things? Hey, I just learned that you were alive, and now you're dead. What? Like I said, it could be more of a what if story than anything else that he would kind of think about or ponder on or regret.
Interesting. Yeah, I can't come up with anything. One, because I don't have a character, but I'm not a player. Yeah, I don't think I really have regrets. I know that I make mistakes, but when I do make those mistakes, I try and jot them down and make sure that I don't do that next time. I constantly seek to improve. But on the flip side of that, there's some times where I've made mistakes, or I allow something that maybe shouldn't have been allowed that leads to a really good, story thing, or that leads to something really cool that wouldn't have happened otherwise. So I kind of don't regret the mistake, if that makes sense.
That has happened, at least for my character. Got away with one thing. I didn't even know I could do it, but I couldn't do it, and then I did it. So.
Okay. Jackie Gaming, I hope you're still here, because now I'm going to answer your question. Well,
I'm excited about that.
We're all going to answer your question.
All at the same time.
If a party member had a chance to assume divinity or godhood, who would it be? Would anyone take it? What if said characters had to fight over the only one? As in, I guess what if said characters had to fight for the ability to be a god? Or the ability to assume divinity?
Yeah.
I think if there was any character, in my opinion, that would assume divinity or godhood, it would be Val.
No.
Oh.
I, hands down, think it would be Sumiko.
Really?
Well, I guess we're fine.
Sumiko loves Bahamut. He's literally the ultimate good. And if Sumiko could become Bahamut, that is the ultimate level of goodness. That is the ultimate way she can help as many people and feel good about herself.
True. She's got something to prove.
I have something to prove.
Well, if you would be assuming divinity or godhood, you would almost, depending on your alignment and kind of what you stand for, maybe be in contrast to Bahamut. Maybe be at war with Bahamut. Who knows?
No, if there was a war between Bahamut and Sumiko, it would be literally who could do the most good things. It would be like, you didn't help that old lady across the street, but I did. I think she would want that. She's not a selfish person by any means, but she's also hasn't shown that she wouldn't do something selfish. But I think that's the one thing she would be selfish about. And she would have no problem fighting for that. Because in her eyes, she's not, like, true, like, pure-hearted good. She has her own version of good. And if she can help more people, and that means she just has to hurt one person to be able to help, like, a bajillion people, then she would pick the bajillion people. I mean, she wouldn't want to hurt the person, but, you know, if it's for the ultimate good...
So you're for the many.
Yeah.
He goes for the many.
I guess
Whoa!
And that was on camera.
Next question!
I guess she is for the many. But, I mean, part of the many is...
Awesome.
It's still to prove for her family. It's for her family, the many. But she hasn't seen her family in years. Because, not to spoil anything, but everyone should know that Sumiko has not seen her family in 70 years, at least. So,
that's not a lot of time.
Well, for
Yeah,
some
I guess
people
in
it
adult
is.
years, it's not.
70, you know.
Well, either way,
It's like 6 years.
not for some people in the group. For the elves, maybe.
What about you, Ben?
You know, initially my knee jerk was, Friggin doesn't want to be a god, but thinking about it for the last few minutes, I feel like he doesn't want to label it as godhood, but he might want to ascend to a level of power to where he can help people better than the gods that he already knows about, because he doesn't follow anyone. Like by choice, he does not follow any deity, because he just doesn't 100% align with any of them. So if anything, he would want to fill the void that he sees in that spectrum. But I don't think that he would like to be called a god or worshipped or anything like that. I feel like he'd just be there, filling in at empty shifts at the eggs and kegs, you know, just doing whatever he can to help.
But with godlike speed and magic.
Yes.
You get eggs.
So yeah, those are both my answers.
Jeff?
But before I answer for Val, I'm curious as to why you would think Val would.
Why I would?
Or why you think Val would be the one to try.
So I see Val as someone who is very skeptical about, like, powers above him. He's like being a drow. You are under, you know, Lolth and like her web of influence. So like having this almighty power that just reigns over you isn't uncommon. So that mixed with the fact that like you're also super interested in Veyron, but you don't look to him for like specific powers and abilities. It makes me think that you kind of envy that position without wanting to like sell your soul or give yourself over to a god or deity in order to get it.
I can see that.
Like seeing them less as almighty beings and more like I see that you're there doing your thing. I could do that.
Oh look, something else I could kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you literally just said that Val was interested in Zadris because of the power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of...
Absolutely. But when it comes to the power, it was more of the deal aspect. Like, okay, cool, I saw what you did with Xena. That's not how it's gonna go with me there, buddy boy. And if that's not gonna be the case, then I don't need you.
It's like a god complex.
I think... yeah, exactly. But then if it was one of those situations where, yeah, I don't know what he would do. I mean, yeah, it would be infinite power, but it'd be one of those things, would he still be himself? That's the biggest question. It's like how much. It's like the how much are you willing to give up kind of question. And I guess, but like I said, he's very like situational. So if it's a yes or no, it's a real quick yes or no. It's let's find out, let's figure out where see this goes. No, it's either going to be in the current situation. Is the answer going to be yes? Is it going to be no? What's going to benefit him?
Val, the god of gambling, booze, and fornication.
Hey, I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
Gotta be a god of something. Am I right?
If I was a god,
Talk about a film, but never mind.
I would make the sky rain flowers.
Jack of Gaming, that was a really good, thought-provoking question.
Did you see the next one?
Oh God.
I like that one too.
Johnny.
I think I have an answer for that.
Oh God.
That's me.
What happened?
It's you?
It's very...
Why?
I don't know. What was the question again?
Okay.
That's a good question.
Johnny Midnight asked a very dangerous question, but it's also interesting, and I want to tackle it first. Who, in everyone's opinion, is the weak link in the party, and why? So, Johnny Midnight, I think...
I'm sorry.
You volunteered yourself too.
That is a loaded question. I think you're trying to start problems.
Instigator.
But my answer to this question would be, I think that there are... Oh God. What happened? Okay, cool. I think that the answer of who is the weak link really depends on what's going on. Like, what is the task? Because I think that Sumiko would be really good in, like, certain social situations, but on higher schemes, on higher, like, levels, she might have difficulty, like, communicating properly with, like, a queen or a noble or someone like that who really doesn't want a flower, or who really wants to kind of, like, get down to business.
We've seen that.
Yeah.
I literally threw flowers in Tatiana's mom's face, even though she was like, "Don't do it again." And I'm like, "Here you go."
Or Viridian, if he has to make, like, a really tough choice that could potentially end in, like, pain and suffering, one of those, like, catch-22 or, like, Kobayashi Maru type cases, I think that he wouldn't be as strong as, like, someone else in just definitively saying, we're doing this, you know, whatever, because he's more, like you said before, needs of the many. Loot, we're kind of still learning, I think.
Yeah.
So it's a bit hard to say. Tatiana, I think that she would be weak in a situation like that as well, where she couldn't find a great way to get everyone out and for everyone to be safe. And if there was some kind of sacrifice that needed to be made, of course she would, like, try and sacrifice herself. But if it was between these amount of people and these amount of people, I think that would be a very weak situation for her, and she would be the weak link there. And for Val, I think that Val is the weak link when it comes to, like, empathy and trying to understand the emotions and motivators of certain characters, and, like, understanding, you know, why this person would do the thing that they do. I think it's hard for him to understand sometimes. So I think it's not a matter of who's the weakest link. I think the better question would be, who is the weakest link at this moment? Who is the weakest link in this situation? That's my answer.
Exactly.
Do you guys have answers?
I do. But not necessarily in that regard. If I just think about in-game, if I'm comparing everyone, like Sumiko's looking at everybody in the group.
Is she looking at herself as well?
Yes.
Okay.
As well as myself. I would not see Val as a weak link because I can see the stuff that I want to learn from him. I would not go below to grow, probably. I would go to someone above me to learn and grow. Tatiana is always like up there, ready to do whatever she has to do for the good of the group. So I don't think she's a weak link. I wouldn't say Varian is a weak link either. I would say your impact on the group isn't so much like I can go up and hit a bunch of people, but the way you're able to divert a situation or get us out of a situation. And I don't think I'm the weak link just because I can be really far away. I have extremely high perception, so like I can pay attention to whatever's going on, or if people are lying to us. And she would think that her skills of talking to people are amazing, and would think that that's a really good part for her. So I would say loot, only because she wouldn't fully understand what loot is capable of. And right now, her only experience with loot was, wow, you were like possessed, and I easily punched you.
Beat the
Twice.
crap out of that boy. Episode 1, ladies and gentlemen.
I think I got like 2 natural 20s on him. And he's like 3 feet tall, and like overall, like his stature is small, and he sings, so like he doesn't give off this like menacing personality. So I don't think Sumiko thinks of him as like this. Like she doesn't think badly of him. She just doesn't think of him in the same regard as she would for Tatiana or Val, where she would see them like run out there and be really aggressive and stuff. And I guess in this case would be more
Puffy Panda, you're funny.
Aww.
Oh.
Oh, look, we got more people.
Hey, fat kids.
Isn't that Caroline?
Oh, that's Caroline.
Hey, Caroline.
I mean, okay.
We
So
love you.
your answer
We
is everyone is the weakest link. Your answer is nobody is the weakest
No,
link.
I think Loot is.
Okay.
Because
ultimately Luke.
Because I don't know what he's capable of, and right now, in terms of his contribution to her, other than keeping us clean, I know, like, he cleans us off with his spell, but other than that, Sumiko doesn't really know what else he can do that's really, like, extremely
helpful.
quote unquote helpful. Like, I guess, yes, he can heal, but I don't see him as a healer. You know, I see you more as the healer right now because I've seen you do it more in relation to how long I've been a part of the group, and versus his, which is unfair to Luke because he's only been there for like 3 days. But right now, because he's the least involved, I would say he's the weakest because he also isn't as in tune with the group.
My answer is Lily. Sumiko's cat is the weakest link. Does nothing but eat and sit in the bag.
And sit in Sumiko's bag.
That's
and
a good point. I
comes
forgot
out-
about my cat.
Comes out from time to time to just be like, hey, I'm still here.
Yeah. And
What's up in this outside world?
You know how she's not the weakest link though?
she's not dead like Xena.
Wow.
No, that's not even where I was gonna go.
Too soon.
That's not even where I was gonna go. I was gonna say if I went off by myself and I left you the map and you just said pumpernickel, then you'll know where I am. And that's because of the cat.
The good old pumpernickel
Yes,
spell.
the cat
Is
negotiated.
that on stream?
Yeah.
Was that?
I don't know.
That might have been one episode beforehand,
Yeah.
or 2 episodes
Dang,
beforehand.
I loved that episode.
Well, they went to visit this guy named Dane,
Sumiko loves Dane.
and he is he's a historian and map maker, and he is in Stonehaven, which is the huge city that they just came from, where our stream started at episode 1, and the map that they use to kind of look at where everything is, it has a magical spell on it where if they say pumpernickel, it'll show a little red dot where her
No,
cat.
it's a teal dot.
It's a little teal dot where her cat is. So
It's cute.
she can always find her cat.
Yes, that's what makes her not the weakest. I'm just kidding, though. I'm just kidding.
So then, she is still the weakest because the map is above her.
Yes.
Hey,
But
JF,
they're a duo. Without one, you can't have the other.
you can have the other.
No.
Hey, Jeff. Did you die, Jeff?
Jeff or Rooney.
Oh, there I am. Hey. No, I think I have to go with Jordan. I think it's 100% situational. Like right now, I feel.
I thought you were saying I feel with Jordan as
The
the
DM
weakest
is
link.
the weakest link. Yeah.
The DM is the weakest
Who
link.
even needs this world?
No, I
We can
think
make it
I think
better.
I think it's very situational. Like I think it pertains to a lot of the story arcs. Like right now, we're heavily into Tatiana's story arc, and I would refer to her as the weakest link because she is it what mindset is your character in right this second? And I think she has a lot going on with what's stuff from her past and what's going on currently in the monastery. I think the arc previously when we were in the Underdark with Val, he would have been the weakest link because we were in a town where all of a sudden the group found a wanted poster with a space on it, and he was essentially found out, and the group ended up in prison, and just a whole slew of different things. And I think everything's very situational when it comes to the weakest link and what's going on story wise for certain characters.
I definitely agree. Mostly because I said it. So yeah, I agree. Hey Puffy Panda. Thanks for coming. Chatting with us. We appreciate you. Okay, I think
I appreciate all of you, not just Puffy Panda.
Well,
Some more than others.
each of them I've said something, but I realized I didn't say anything about Puffy Panda, so I wanted to give Puffy Panda a shout out.
Shout out. From down under.
From down under.
What?
I'll talk crap about the cat if I feel like it, Panda. I'm just kidding. I won't.
The cat is the
I'll
best
cut it
party member.
Easily. You can't have a story without a Lily.
I actually think about how I feel like she should be more included in these battles because technically she's just chilling on to me. So if I get hurt,
She will get hurt as well.
I feel like she should be getting hurt as well. But we don't do that.
It really depends on what's going on.
I know my cat's gonna die now.
See, that's why Val has an expendable pet.
Well, my cat was only like 3 silver pieces.
Wow.
Replaceable.
Wow.
So yes, expendable.
I wouldn't say expendable, but
Wait until I get to another big town.
if she really had to get another cat, she could. But I don't want to get another cat.
Beyonce over here.
What?
I would say the strongest character in the campaign is Eno.
Eno Fawn?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he's a panda.
Oh. That totally makes sense.
And he makes teas. And who knows what those teas can do.
I don't think he's the
You know,
strongest.
here I thought, like, in the split second, I was like, man, I could see that. Wow. Your brain went there. The fact that, like, he's been through the same things that Tatiana's been through, and he just, you know, he's become more of like a pacifist now, and he's living on in his life. That takes true strength, and you're like, no, he's a panda.
That was the second half
That's
of my
it.
answer, though.
Bahamut.
No, it
Bahamut is
wasn't.
way better than
Shit.
Eno.
Bahamut is a god.
That's why he's better.
We're not gods yet. We're working our way up.
Sure
to get
am.
to there.
Level 30.
Soon, Sumiko will transcend into a dragon. Just no longer be an elf, just be a dragon.
I want Mel to be a god.
Mel the pseudo dragon, who has now somehow discovered how to, like,
Open portals to...
open portals and shift. Interesting stuff.
I didn't know. Anyway. She can be the icon, where you can do all the work of the god. She can just be the icon. She's the face.
She'll be on like all of the pamphlets and brochures.
Yeah.
Have you heard about our Lord Virian Christ?
Mel. It'll still be Mel.
Okay. Now, I think there was one. We're gonna take one last question. We're gonna answer this question, and then we'll do one more. So, if anyone has any questions in the leave them in the chat. And depending on which ones we all agree on, or we'll just take all of them. Who knows? It really depends on how we're feeling. But if you have any last questions for us for this round, let us know, and we'll answer this other question that was in here.
There's more messages.
More messages.
What mistakes do you make?
As a player or as a character?
That might have been in response to you
When I was saying that?
Yeah, your regrets. Your regretties.
Oh.
Well, we can expand on it. So,
I can definitely tell you I've made some mistakes.
So what mistakes do you make as a player? What mistakes do I make as a DM? I'm going to probably take the longest, so I'm going to answer last. What mistakes do you make as a player?
As a player,
Give me like a top 3.
I have accidentally looked at the wrong damage. Because sometimes I forget that my unarmored strikes are not identical to my orbs. And when I do realize I do that, I tend to compensate in the future. I used to do it a lot more, where I would notice, like, dang it, it's supposed to be plus 4, not plus 5. And I personally don't think that one point in the scenarios that have happened so far would make that big of an impact of, like, being on the line. But now I don't do that as much. I don't even do that at all. It just used to be a thing because I would get confused why they weren't the same, because they were still just from my hands. I don't know if I do anything else.
You don't make any other mistakes.
I mean, not like from my sheet.
The literal sheet.
I don't know. Do you think I'm making a mistake?
No. That's just being thorough, I guess.
I think your biggest mistake is that you don't wear enough hats like this one.
I will have to agree. Your coolness goes up by at least it's a plus 6 hat of coolness.
Bulbasaur hat and then a taco cat shirt.
You're at exactly 6.
Yes. Otherwise it's 0.
4.
In fact, you're the only one who's not wearing cats.
I am wearing a cat.
It's because I am a cat.
You're like the opposite of a cat.
I am a cat. We'll talk about that later.
Next question.
I have a whole philosophy on why I'm a cat. But, Ben.
I also have one of those for myself.
Philosophy on why you're a cat?
Yeah, I didn't want to accept it. It was told to me by a bunch of people. I was like, that's wrong. But anyway, as a player, my biggest mistakes are reading spells wrong. Like summon animals at higher levels. I did that incorrectly in one of our streams. Sometimes I don't act as Grian would act. And then I think about it afterward and I'm like, whoops. No, it wasn't right. That wasn't right. He wouldn't have done that. Like turning into a kipper and exploding someone's head. He would not have done that.
Never. He wouldn't have done that.
He would never have done that. That's pretty much it. Yep. Spells are hard. Oh, I also forget to prep new loadouts when I rest, because I'm so excited. I'm so excited the whole time we're resting. Oh, yes, I'm getting all this stuff back and D&D
all these
Beyond,
spell slots,
and
hell.
I renew everything, and I'm like, sweet. And then I'm like, fuck.
God damn it.
I forgot to prep new spells. Yeah. So that's it.
Hey, Jeff.
I forgot the question.
No. What mistakes do you make as a player?
None.
I'm perfect.
I think spells. I think spells and remembering how many lucks I've used. Just because this is the first like character that I actually have used that is actually a spellcaster. Because I've never played spellcasters before, and that's kind of why I went Arcane Trickster. Was because it was I don't know if it was new to 5e, but from a rogue archetype standpoint, it was new to me. So I was like, okay, cool. This sounds like it'd just be fun in terms of just fucking around. So probably reading spells, picking the right spells, because you are kind of limited with Arcane Trickster. So I think in the past I've gotten Jordan's Blessing to switch around a couple spells, which isn't a thing that you can do as an Arcane Trickster, similar to what you can do with like sorcerers and stuff like that. Yeah, probably just knowing what spells I should have picked, and remembering my how many lucks I've used.
Okay. Well, I make a shit ton of mistakes, and that's okay. Like, being a DM is very difficult, and anyone that tells you differently is lying. Or they're probably bad. A bad DM. You're gonna make mistakes. That happens. It's just really, what you do after that determines everything. So, in terms of like what mistakes I make all kinds. I don't know if there's a top 3, but the ones that come to my head are maybe I misjudged an encounter. Maybe I overbalanced I made something kind of OP or underbalanced, and I need to, bring it up. I think that's something that I often do, is I'll make something, and I'll think about I'll think about a lot of the different ways that it can be abused, so I'll nerf it, and it's like, this thing is barely usable. So now I spend time at some point, buffing it.
What was the last OP thing that you put us against? Or I guess anything.
Those caterpillars.
They were 4 CR11 things against a 5 CR11. Are we technically CR11? No, we're not. We're not. Okay.
That was purposeful.
You wanted us to die.
No, it's probably like a length of the battle until the tribe showed up or whatever.
Yeah, tribe was going to be there at a certain time.
He almost died.
Like they were going through that area, and it just so happened that where you guys were, there were these centipedes. So like, it was a number of rounds before these, warriors that were going to this area anyway. We're going to get there and arrive. So if something had happened before that, then that kind of sucks. It's up to the dice. But I don't know. What's the last OP thing? Maybe Grimrock? I think Grimrock.
I don't think I even got hurt by him. Like, I think I took like 4 points of damage.
See, the thing about monks is they can avoid damage a lot, but once something like targets them and they don't, like their defenses get compromised, they're glass cannons. So I think that as they were starting to whittle down the party, like when Grimrod was facing Tatiana, he got like 2 hits on her and she was unconscious. So when you have like this person who can multi-attack and he has like copies of himself who are continually multi-attacking, like they weren't attacking you because you were far, kind of shooting.
I think for me it was that tree thing. That tree thing we were up against, we just spent forever trying to get Xena out of that thing.
Oh.
Like, that was the thing I felt like was the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
That one. More so than the other one. Specifically because I feel like we tried everything. Like everything and nothing was changing. Like I feel like we had to get blatant hints in order to get past, or else we would still be there in session.
To this day.
That was
Chopping
hard.
away.
And it wasn't hard in a sense that we were getting hurt. It was hard because we didn't know what to do.
Then Claire failed like however many.
All of them.
All of those
All
wisdom saves.
All she needed was one. She was failing all of them. Yeah, I mean, in terms of mistakes, like that's up there too. I think I could have done a better job in explaining, like the different ways that you could have gotten over that hump, without blatantly throwing the answer into your face, which I didn't. But I was like, after a certain point, helping you guys along. Yeah, I don't know. I think every mistake can be turned into something decent. So, even when I make mistakes, it's like, okay, let's just roll with it now. You gotta improvise.
I think the best things.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I think the best things that happen in DoD are the ones that are unplanned, which is like apparently 80% of it, if not more, or what? I don't know. I'm not the DM, but it seems that way sometimes. We're just like, oh, we'll go to this restaurant. There's no way he prepared for this. Eggs and kegs.
Ignatis, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Shame's blood.
Shame's blood.
Ooh. I still think about that.
Shame's blood. Yeah, so I do plan like a lot, but it is impossible to plan for every circumstance and every scenario in a game where you have 6 different people or 5 different people who can make any choice that they want. Like, that is impossible. And if you're ever looking to DM any of our viewers or people who watch this video later, if you're looking to DM, that is a really good tip I have for you. Like, don't kill yourself trying to plan for everything. Learn your party, plan for what you can and what you predict that they're going to, go towards. Don't overplan, because then you're going to shoehorn them into it, or be disappointed when they, go past this thing that you spent 2 hours building and crafting. Just do what you can, and then everything else, improvise. Taking the improvisation class, it helps.
Did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Was it a secret?
A secret?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I don't think we were.
I took improv classes before, when I was in college.
Oh.
So it wasn't something that I did for this campaign.
Okay.
It was just something that I had already done. But yeah, I would definitely recommend that for anyone who's looking to DM, because it's a lot of improv.
Just in general, take improv.
As a player too, yeah.
I just will spontaneously throw flowers. That's my go-to thing.
Yeah. So, I think we're done for the night.
What? I enjoy our little talks. I'm sorry.
I do too.
And I want to answer like all these questions because they're just as interesting to answer as they are to
We might want to move these
have answered.
Funny-
up earlier in the day so that we
Funny
can
enough,
answer
we-
questions longer.
We didn't even get to like most of our questions.
That's okay.
I asked Val like 2 of however many I had for him, and we have like at least.
It's okay.
Yeah, we have a lot more.
This is for our viewers, not for us.
No, you're
Oh,
right.
It's
you're
for
right.
them.
I'm just saying, content-wise, we could go on,
Yeah.
but we're gonna call it a night.
I would like to say we could keep going.
We're gonna call it a night. Thank you so much, guys, for watching and for communicating and chatting and stuff. And
Happy birthday again
yeah,
to
Jack
Jackie
Gaming,
Gaming.
happy birthday. Thanks, Jeff, for coming.
Next time you'll be here.
Next time you better be here.
For real.
On this bean.
On the bean. Get on the bean.
This big old brown bean.
Brown bean.
It is the amazing bean. And I love it.
If you don't have a giant bean, you should get one.
The bean is the best thing ever.
They're only like $300, but you should get one.
It's like $150.
I thought they were way more.
It's the best $150 I've ever spent.
I'm sorry, I rolled that I lied about $300. I thought it was that much.
We're gonna end the stream now, and we're never gonna forgive Jen or Sumiko either. Goodbye, guys.
Aww.
And never forgive. Never forgive Jen. Never forget. Goodbye.